Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today's deep dive, which is all about advanced English listening practice, focuses on this really comprehensive material, 100 common English questions you need to know.
Yes, and we're really looking forward to guiding you through this because, as you've probably gathered, the idea isn't just to, read out a list of 100 questions. That would be, well, frankly, pretty dull.
Exactly. Our mission here is much more involved and honestly much more vital if you really want to achieve that natural fluency. We're trying to zoom past just the words themselves. We want to dive deep into how they're actually used. The context, the little social cues, the different ways you can phrase things to sound, more like a native speaker, more dynamic, more aware in actual conversations.
Right. Think of this deep dive as giving you a shortcut. A way to sound more natural whether you're just meeting someone casually or you're in a professional setting.
So to make sense of all this great info, we've broken it down. The material is organized into 10 key categories.
And we'll go through them step by step. We're really going to focus on that cultural context, the sort of unwritten rules behind these common phrases. Knowing when to ask something, and maybe even more importantly, how to read the response.
Okay, let's not waste any time then. Let's jump right into section 1, the Icebreaker Toolkit. This covers the first 3 big areas: greeting, personal identity, and family questions. These are really the building blocks, aren't they, for any new social interaction?
Absolutely fundamental.
So, starting with category 1, the greeting and introduction questions, Q110. And we have to start with probably the most famous one in the English-speaking world, that ritualistic opener. How are you?
Yeah, how are you? It's maybe the most deceptive question on the whole list, because what it literally means is almost always less important than its social job.
Right.
We really need to make it clear for you, the listener, that in almost all those quick, casual situations, passing a colleague, talking to a cashier, how are you, is not a genuine request for a detailed emotional report.
Yeah, it's like social glue or punctuation, maybe.
That's a great way to put it. Social punctuation. And that's the fluency lesson right there. Many learners, translating directly, feel they have to share their morning stress or their headache. But if you suddenly launch into a long story, you're you're breaking the unwritten rules of that quick chat. It expects things to stay pretty neutral, emotionally speaking.
So efficiency is key here.
High efficiency, exactly. The material suggests keeping your answer brief, generally positive, even if it's generic, like, I'm doing great, thanks, or maybe I'm well, thank you.
And the crucial part:
you have to return the favor. That ritual of reciprocity is vital for keeping the conversation smooth. Bounce it right back. How about you? Or slightly more formally, and yourself.
Okay, but what if you actually do want to show real interest? Say you're with a friend or you're about to sit down for a proper chat. How do those variations help signal that shift, from ritual to real question?
Good point. That's where the language gets a bit more nuanced. Switching to something like, how's your day going? Or, how have you been lately? Those add a time element.
Right, makes sense.
It immediately signals you're willing to engage with what's been happening for them recently or right now. It takes it out of pure politeness and into genuine interest. But your tone of voice is absolutely crucial here. Needs to be warm, not rushed.
Got it. Okay, moving on to establishing who people are, the core questions. What's your name? Where are you from? And the classic, what do you do?
So for what's your name, there's a small but really useful tip for sounding poised. Always say your own name first.
Oh, okay.
You introduce yourself, then ask, hi, I'm your name, what's your name? It just creates a better balance, shows confidence. And if it's a more formal setting, maybe a conference.
Yeah.
Prefacing it with, may I ask? May I ask your name? Instantly makes it sound more polite, more formal. It adjusts the politeness register, as linguists call it.
Speaking of registers, let's look at where you're from. The tip here seems to be about giving a reason.
Exactly. A native speaker often softens this by quickly saying why they're asking. Just blurting out, where are you from? Can feel a bit like an interrogation, can't it?
A bit abrupt.
But if you frame it like, oh, I love your accent. Where are you originally from? It feels much smoother, much less intrusive.
And the sample answer provided is quite detailed too. It's not just one word.
That's a great point. A really fluent answer often gives a bit more context. Like the example, I'm originally from Tokyo, Japan, but I've been living in New York for 5 years now. You see, in just a few seconds, you get origin and current situation. That gives the other person 2 easy things to follow up on: Tokyo or living in New York. Lots of conversational potential there.
Then the big one, especially in networking. What do you do? Meaning your job. This seems to need some elaboration too.
Definitely. The advice is, if you want the other person to share some details about their work, you should set the tone by giving some detail about your work first.
Lead by example.
Precisely. If you just say, I'm an engineer, well, where does the conversation go? It kind of stalls.
Right.
But if you give a bit more context, I'm a software engineer at a tech startup. I specialize in app development for sustainable energy solutions. Suddenly, you've given them something to react to, maybe ask about, and you've subtly shown the level of detail you're hoping for in return.
And what about those slightly different ways of asking in, say, a business meeting?
Good question. Using what's your occupation, or maybe what field are you in, these often sound a bit better in very formal business contexts. What do you do? Can sometimes feel a little too casual for, high-stakes networking. The alternatives just project a bit more professional respect.
Okay, now let's tread carefully into what the material calls sensitive territory. This includes questions like, how old are you and are you married? These carry some real cultural weight, don't they?
Oh, absolutely critical to understand this. Age, especially among adults in many Western cultures like the US or UK, is often considered quite sensitive, even private.
So the tip is basically, don't ask.
Pretty much. Reserve how old are you for kids, or maybe very close friends if it comes up naturally. If you genuinely need some kind of age marker, maybe for planning an event, pivot to something less direct. When's your birthday? Is a great alternative.
Because they can choose how much info to give?
Exactly. They can give the date, maybe the month, without having to state the year if they don't want to. It respects their privacy.
And relationship status. Are you married? Feels a bit old-fashioned sometimes.
It can, and it can also feel exclusionary if someone isn't married but is in a serious relationship. While it might be fine in very traditional family settings, the material rightly points out the essential, more inclusive variations are now standard. Like, do you have a significant other? Or simply, are you in a relationship? These are broader, much more neutral, and they welcome all kinds of life situations. Using them shows you're culturally up to date.
That definitely signals cultural intelligence. Okay, rounding out this first category, we have some safe general starters. Do you have any siblings? Seems pretty neutral.
Very neutral, very engaging. And again, the tip is to share your own family info first. I have one brother, how about you? Creates that nice balance.
And then the ultimate safe zone. How's the weather today?
The classic. You really can't underestimate how useful this is. It's perfect for those slightly awkward moments waiting for a bus, standing in line, by the coffee machine.
Anywhere you're stuck with someone briefly.
Exactly. It's universal, totally non-controversial, and especially in places with changeable weather like the UK or parts of the US, it's always relevant. It's like the WD-40 of basic social chat. Just gets things moving smoothly.
Okay, that's a great foundation. Let's move into category 2, personal information questions, Q1120. So we've broken the ice. Now we're digging just a little bit deeper into identity and daily life stuff.
Right. We start with some practical logistics. Where do you live? And what's your email address? Pretty straightforward.
The tip for email seems obvious but important.
Yeah, just practical advice. Spell it out clearly when you share it, especially if your email handle has, weird spellings, numbers, underscores. Avoids confusion later.
Makes sense. Then the category moves into language and what the material calls cultural markers. Do you speak any other languages? Sounds a great way to connect.
It really is. It's engaging. And the tip to share your own skills first works well here too. Oh, cool. Yeah, I speak Spanish fluently and a bit of French. What about you? It can create a really nice bond over shared learning experiences or backgrounds.
Now, this is interesting. The list includes what's your zodiac sign and even what's your blood type. These feel quite specific.
They are, and they're very culturally specific markers. Zodiac signs are generally seen as lighthearted fun in Western contexts. Great for casual chat, maybe at a party, but you need that light tone because not everyone buys into astrology.
Like a sample answer.
Exactly. I'm a Scorpio, intense and loyal, or so they say. See, it acknowledges the belief without taking it too seriously. It keeps it fun.
But the blood type question, what's your blood type? That feels different. The material notes it's more relevant in some Asian cultures.
Absolutely. This requires significant cultural awareness. In several East Asian cultures, particularly Japan and Korea, there's a popular belief, kind of like a pseudoscience, linking blood types, A, B, A, B, O, to personality traits.
Like horoscopes, but with blood type.
Sort of, yeah. People might talk about type A being meticulous or type O being sociable. So if you ask this question in those cultural contexts, it might be understood as asking about their personality in that framework.
But outside of that context, say in the US or Europe?
It would likely be seen as very strange, possibly even invasive. It's strictly medical information there. Asking it outside a doctor's office or a blood drive would be highly unusual. So you need to know your audience and context for that one.
Okay, good to know. Moving to daily rhythms and safety. Are you a morning person? That seems like easy small talk.
Yeah, it connects easily to talking about work schedules, productivity, maybe even planning social things. Oh, you're not a morning person. Okay, let's not do brunch at 9 a.m. then.
Right. And then the really crucial one. Do you have any allergies?
This one isn't just small talk. It's genuinely important for safety, especially if food is involved, if you're hosting dinner, ordering for a group.
And giving a specific answer helps.
Definitely. Being proactive, like, just so you know, I'm allergic to shellfish, so I tend to avoid seafood, helps the other person accommodate you safely and without fuss.
Then we get into practical comparisons, often asked lightly. What's your height? And what size do you wear?
Yeah, these usually come up casually. Yeah. The sample answer for height is great. It turns a simple fact into a bit of personality. I'm 5'10", tall enough for basketball.
Adds a bit of flavor.
Exactly. And for size, the key tip is just to be specific about the item. What size do you wear is too vague. What size shirt do you wear, or what shoe size? Needs that clarification. For shirts, usually a medium, clear and simple.
And the last one in this category, do you drive?
All about mobility, independence. A simple yes or no often leads straight into talking about transport preferences. Do they use public transport? Do they have an electric car? Do they prefer cycling? It's another way to understand someone's lifestyle.
These questions definitely build connections, but it feels like you always need to be mindful of boundaries.
That's the golden rule, isn't it? Fluency isn't just knowing the questions, it's knowing when and if to ask them, and respecting if someone doesn't want to answer.
Okay, let's move to category 3, family and friends questions. Q2130. This feels like we're shifting into warmer, maybe more emotional territory, talking about relationships, background.
Yeah, these questions often invite more personal stories, but again, sensitivity is key, especially around parent and child dynamics. How many kids do you have? Seems simple, but needs care.
What's the tip here if someone doesn't have children?
The material offers a really graceful pivot. If the answer is none, gently shift towards pets. Asking something like, oh, okay, do you have any furry companions instead? Or, any pets at home? Keeps the conversation positive and avoids any potential awkwardness or assumptions.
That's smart. And what do your parents do? This isn't just about their jobs, is it?
Not really. It's often a way to open up a conversation about someone's upbringing, their background, maybe their values. But again, the principle of sharing first applies. Offer a little about your own family background to make the other person feel more comfortable sharing theirs. Establishes that parity.
Parity, right. I like that. Now, relational stories, this sounds like where the real connection happens. How did you meet your spouse?
Oh, that's a fantastic question for eliciting stories. Perfect if you're preparing a wedding toast, maybe, or just having a deeper dinner conversation.
Yeah.
We love narratives, right? Not just facts.
And the sample answer captures that.
Perfectly. We met at a coffee shop, spilled my drink, and the rest is history. It's short, sweet, but it immediately makes you want to hear the full story. It's an invitation.
That focus on narrative seems to apply to who's your best friend, too. It's not just about the name.
Exactly. The real interest is in why they're your best friend. What qualities do you value in that close relationship? Describing those qualities actually reveals a lot about your own personality and values.
Then we get into broader family structure and customs.
Yeah.
With what's your family like? And what's your favorite family tradition?
The first one, what's your family like, is quite broad. The advice is generally to keep it positive, focusing on the overall dynamic. Something like, oh, we're pretty close-knit and supportive. We try to have dinner together every Sunday.
Gives a nice snapshot.
Yes. And the traditional question, what's your favorite family tradition? That can offer really deep cultural or personal insights. When someone describes, say, their annual beach vacation with bonfires and storytelling, you learn about their shared history, what matters to them, the memories that bind them together. It's lovely.
We also see, who do you live with? How should that be handled?
Keep the focus practical and light. I live with my partner and our extremely lazy cat. It's a cozy little apartment. Focus on the setup, the dynamic, rather than digging too deep into personal finances or relationship details unless they offer them.
And the reliable icebreaker. Do you have pets?
Always a winner, especially for animal lovers. It's instant common ground. You can talk about breeds, funny habits, the joy they bring. Very easy bonding territory.
So mastering these first three categories really sets you up, doesn't it? It gives you the tools to start, sustain, and even deepen a conversation.
Absolutely. If you understand the difference between ritual and real questions, if you respect those sensitive boundaries, you're already operating at a much more advanced level of conversational English. You've got the foundation.
Okay, foundation laid. Let's move into section 2, navigating the world. This feels more about the practicalities and ambitions of life work, hobbies, travel, shopping, starting with careers.
Right.
Category 4, work and education questions. Q3140. Talking about work is almost unavoidable, isn't it? Especially in networking situations or just understanding how people spend their days.
So the basics first. What's your job? We covered that variation earlier. And how long have you worked there? What's the nuance here?
When asking about how long someone's been at a job, the really interesting part isn't just the number of years, it's about the context, maybe their growth. A really strong answer quantifies it, but also hints at progression. Like, about 3 years now, I actually started as an intern, and now I manage a small team.
Shows development.
Exactly. Gives a sense of trajectory, which is much more engaging than just 3 years.
And for education, what do you study? Or where did you go to school?
For students asking about their major or specific focus, environmental science, what aspect of that are you focusing on, is more engaging than just a general subject. If someone's graduated, mentioning their alma mater or asking about their alumni activities shows you have that slightly more advanced professional vocabulary. But the real insight comes from gauging feelings and dreams, right? Like, do you like your job?
Yes, this is crucial for understanding workplace dynamics. And the sample answer here is very realistic, very fluent. Yeah, mostly. The team is fantastic, though the busy periods can be pretty demanding.
Acknowledges the complexity.
Right. Very few jobs are perfect 100% of the time. That kind of honest, balanced answer fosters realism and connection. It's relatable.
And then the aspirational stuff. What's your dream job?
This is always fun. It taps into passions and future hopes. The example, travel writer getting paid to explore the world, is instantly appealing and usually sparks follow-up questions about desired destinations or what that life might look like.
And career changes. Have you ever changed careers?
This is great for discussing adaptability and growth. Yeah. The example, yes, I moved from teaching into tech. It was challenging, but definitely the right move for me, highlights that career shifts are often significant personal journeys. People who've done it often have great insights or advice to share.
We also need to address the modern workplace. Do you work from home?
Very relevant today. This opens up discussions about hybrid schedules, the pros and cons of remote work, finding that work-life balance. It's a huge part of many people's current reality.
Okay, now we absolutely have to tackle the big one. Question 40. What's your salary? The material is very direct about this being sensitive.
Extremely sensitive in most English-speaking cultures, particularly the US, UK, Canada, Australia. It's generally considered rude, invasive, or just plain awkward in casual social conversation.
Why is that?
It touches on really deep-seated issues of social comparison, perceived status, financial privacy, even class differences. It's just not something you ask lightly. It's almost exclusively reserved for very specific transactional contexts.
Like job interviews or negotiation.
Exactly. Job offer discussions, salary negotiations with HR, maybe performance reviews where compensation bands are being discussed. Those are the appropriate times.
So if you, the listener, do need to discuss pay in one of those professional settings, how do you do it without causing offense?
You need to use careful, neutral, professional language, and only in contexts where that information exchange is expected, like with a recruiter or hiring manager. Phrasing like, what is the salary range for this position? Or could you provide details on the compensation package? Is acceptable.
Never casually.
Never casually over dinner or at a party. It's honestly one of the clearest signals of lacking social awareness in English conversation. The best advice. Research typical salary ranges for roles and industries beforehand using online resources. Don't put individuals on the spot.
That is a really vital piece of cultural fluency. Okay, let's shift gears and lighten things up considerably with Category 5. Hobbies and interests. Questions. Q4150. This is where the fun connections happen, right? Where personalities emerge.
Definitely. These questions about leisure, what do you do for fun, or what's your favorite hobby, are gold mines because they reveal passions. And the key tip for real fluency here is always ask why.
Why?
Because knowing why someone loves photography tells you so much more than just the word photography. The sample answer, because it captures fleeting moments, reveals something about their perspective, what they value. That's where the real connection lies.
Makes sense. And diving into media and arts seems like easy common ground. What music do you like?
Yeah, this can uncover surprising tastes. Maybe someone loves both indie rock and classical music. Asking for specific recommendations, any bands I should check out. Or sharing a song you think they might like turns it from just listing genres into a real cultural exchange.
Same for books and movies. What books do you read? What's your favorite movie?
Absolutely. The example given, Inception described as mind-bending, immediately opens the door to discussing plot, themes, philosophy, maybe other films by that director. It's a fantastic, low-pressure way to find shared interests.
Then we have activities. Do you play any sports?
Right, and a good answer gives specifics. Yeah, I play soccer on weekends with some friends, mainly for fun and fitness.
And do you cook?
This can lead to great conversations. If someone says, yes, I love cooking, I kind of specialize in Italian pasta dishes, well, you've just found a topic for a whole future conversation, maybe even an invitation.
What about what games do you play? Need to be clear here.
Yeah, that's important. Clarify if they mean board games like chess or Settlers of Catan, or video games like Fortnite or Animal Crossing. Showing you know the difference demonstrates genuine interest.
And finally, adventure and exploration. Do you travel often?
The focus here should quickly move beyond just yes or no to the destinations. Oh, where have you been recently? Or any favorite places? The example, we went to Europe last summer, prompts questions about specific countries or experiences. This whole category is really about finding those shared passions that build stronger bonds.
Okay, next up, Category 6. Travel and directions questions. Q5160. Super practical stuff. Essential whether you're a local trying to get around or a tourist exploring a new place.
Absolutely. When you're lost or need to find something, you need clear, specific questions. How do I get to the museum? Or where is the nearest pharmacy ATM?
And the tip about landmarks?
Crucial, especially in cities without a simple grid system. Asking, how do I get to the main station is okay, but how do I get to the main station? I'm currently standing opposite the big clock tower, gives the person helping you much better context. If you're a tourist, knowing how to ask for the nearest police station or hospital is also really important for safety.
Logistics and timing need specifics too. How far is it?
Yes, you need to guide the answer. Are you asking for distance in miles or kilometers, or travel time by walking, driving, or public transport? How far is it to walk? Or how long is it to by car? Helps them give you the info you actually need.
And checking schedules, like what time does the train leave?
The fluency tip here is to be precise. Mention the destination, maybe the platform if you know it. What time does the next train to London leave from platform 3? And acknowledging technology is key now. Let me just check the app.
Verification is important too. Is this the right way?
Yeah, especially if you're following directions. Okay, so I turn left at the bakery. Is this the right way for the library? Confirming with landmarks helps avoid getting more lost.
And the classic, do you have a map? Is that still relevant?
The material includes it, but acknowledges reality. While paper maps exist, most people rely on phones now. So a more common scenario might be asking for help using a map app, or asking if there's Wi-Fi to check your own map. Excuse me, could you show me on this map app where we are? Is probably more useful today.
Okay, transactional travel, costs. How much is the ticket?
And always follow up by asking about possible discounts. Student, senior, child, return ticket, off-peak. There are often savings available if you ask.
And booking accommodation. Can I book a room?
You need to be specific immediately. Dates for 2 nights starting tomorrow, duration, room type, double room, non-smoking, any specific needs. The more detail you give up front, the smoother the booking process.
Finally, pre-trip prep. What's the weather like there?
This isn't just about temperature. It's about seasons, typical conditions. The sample answer nails it. It should be sunny and in the low 80s Fahrenheit. Definitely pack light clothing. It connects the forecast directly to actionable advice. That's what makes it helpful. These questions turn travel plans from vague ideas into concrete actions.
Okay, let's transition smoothly into the world of buying things. Category 7, shopping and services questions, Q6170. This is all about being a savvy consumer, navigating stores and getting what you need.
Right, starting with price. How much does this cost, or what's the price on this? Straightforward. But the fluency tip about bargaining is interesting.
Where does that apply?
It's very culturally specific. In many markets, bazaars, or when buying used goods or large items like cars, some polite haggling might be expected. The tip suggests phrasing like, is there any flexibility on the price? Or would you consider slightly lower price?
But we need a caution here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's crucial to know where bargaining is okay. Trying to haggle over a coffee or a t-shirt in a regular department store or chain store in the US or UK would be seen as inappropriate, maybe even rude. Cultural awareness is key. When in doubt, probably don't bargain in standard retail shops.
Okay. Then checking availability and trying things on. Do you have this in my size? Specifying medium, size 10, etc. And can I try this on?
Yes, and this naturally leads to asking where the fitting rooms are. Excuse me, where are the fitting rooms? Simple, essential.
Payment and logistics next. Do you accept credit cards?
A must ask these days. And maybe follow up with, do you take Visa, MasterCard? Or ask if there are any extra fees for using cards, especially foreign ones.
And returns. Can I return this?
Vital for bigger purchases. You need to know the store's policy. How many days do you have? Free G, 30 days. Do you need the receipt? Can you get a refund or only an exchange? Can I exchange it for a different size? Knowing the policy up front saves hassle later.
Delivery options too.
Do you deliver? Yeah, especially for larger items or online shopping. And often worth asking if there are thresholds for free delivery. Is delivery free if I spend over $50?
Then some essential service needs. Where is the bathroom? Possibly the most practical question ever.
Probably. And the language tip here is good. In more formal settings, a nice restaurant, an office building, a theater using restroom or perhaps facilities sounds a bit more polished than the more common bathroom or toilet loo in the UK. Context matters.
Also useful. What time do you close?
Especially if you're shopping near the end of the day.
And finally, record keeping. Can I get a receipt?
And it's good practice now to specify if you prefer a printed one or digital one sent via email, if that's an option. Clear questions lead to smooth transactions.
Okay, that covers navigating the practical world quite thoroughly. We've gone from meeting people to getting around and buying things. Now let's dive into section 3, deeper connections. This section seems to focus on well-being, opinions, and those really versatile question words that underpin everything.
Exactly. We start with category 8, health and well-being questions, Q7180. These show empathy and care, but they're generally used when there's a reason someone seems unwell, stressed, or you have a closer relationship.
So the first one, how are you feeling, is different now, not the ritual.
Right. In this context, it's a genuine question showing concern. And the absolute key tip here is to listen actively to the answer. If they say, a bit better today, thanks, you need to acknowledge that with something like, oh, I'm glad to hear that, or take it easy. It moves beyond basic politeness into real support.
When the concern is more serious, we get more specific. Have you seen a doctor?
Yes, this is gently urging them towards professional help if needed. And what hurts helps pinpoint the problem, whether it's for first aid or just understanding, oh, it's my lower back, feels like I pulled something. Specificity helps.
Then we move into lifestyle habits, which can be good conversation starters if handled sensitively. Do you exercise?
Yeah, this can lead to talking about routines. I try to go to the gym 3 times a week, or I really enjoy hiking on weekends. And what do you eat? Isn't usually about judging, but more about discussing healthy habits. Maybe sharing recipes. I'm trying to eat more vegetables and lean protein.
Rest and stress are big topics too. How much sleep do you get?
A very relevant question for many people. It can open up discussions about sleep quality, stress, and maybe sharing tips for better rest.
And addressing stress directly. Are you stressed?
This needs empathy. The fluent response isn't dismissive. Acknowledging it, like, yeah, I bet work's been really demanding this quarter, allows for supportive conversation, maybe talking about ways to cope or manage the workload.
What about the more private medical questions, like what medications do you take, or do you smoke?
The material rightly flags these as needing high sensitivity and respect for privacy. Unless you're a doctor, very close family, or there's a direct need-to-know context like allergies, you shouldn't really push for details. A vague answer like, oh, just some daily vitamins should be accepted gracefully. Asking these requires a strong existing level of comfort and trust.
Okay, definitely need to be careful there. Let's shift from empathy to intellectual connection with category 9. Opinion and preference questions, Q8190. These are the questions that spark debate and reveal how people think.
Right. The cornerstone is, what do you think about a topic? When you're asking this, especially about a complex or controversial issue, the tip is to keep your own opinion neutral initially. You want to encourage a balanced response from them.
Like the sample.
Exactly. Well, it's an interesting idea. I can see both pros and cons. Variations like, what's your take on that? Or where do you stand on this issue? Are great ways to phrase it too.
Liking things is simpler. Do you like sushi, jazz, hiking? And what's your favorite? Book season city?
Straightforward, yes. But again, the Fluency Booster is asking why. Don't just get the answer, understand the preference. If their favorite season is autumn, asking why maybe they love the colors, the crisp air, the cozy feeling gives you so much more insight and conversational fuel. The reasoning is the interesting part.
How do we dig deeper into that reasoning?
Use why do you think that? This specifically asks for the justification behind their opinion. A strong answer might ground it in experience, like the sample. Based on my experience in the industry, I think that approach is more effective. It shifts from just feeling to evidence or logic.
And I love the hypothetical what if.
Me too. It's fantastic for sparking imagination and creative thinking. What if you could teleport? Or what if schools didn't have grades? The response, like, wow, that's exciting to think about it, might open up whole new ways of learning, moves the conversation into possibilities and shared exploration.
We have questions for agreement and making choices together. You agree?
Simple, direct way to check for consensus. And should we is essential for group planning. Should we order pizza or Chinese? Should we start the meeting now? Practical decision making.
And seeking advice. What's the best?
This taps into personal experience for recommendations. What's the best way to learn Spanish? What's the best coffee shop around here? You're asking for their informed opinion, often leading to helpful suggestions like, oh, the cafe on Elm Street is the best great coffee and pastries. These opinion questions are vital for collaboration and deeper understanding.
Okay, that brings us to the final group, Category 10, miscellaneous questions, Q91-100. These are described as the foundational W's and H's, the really versatile catch-all tools for getting information and clarity. The scaffolding of conversation, really.
That's a perfect way to put it. These are the linguistic nuts and bolts. They cover basic timing, what time is it, with that useful tip about mentioning time zones if you're talking remotely.
And location.
Right, when and where.
Simple, but essential. Mastering the natural intonation and context for these basic questions is a mark of proficiency. Then getting help and identifying things. Can you help me?
And the crucial tip here is, be specific about what help you need. Can you help me is vague. Can you help me carry this bag? Or can you help me understand this instruction is much clearer and more effective.
And what's that?
The fundamental question for identifying something often needs pointing or gesturing to clarify what that refers to. Sorry, what's that building over there?
Then the core probes for deeper understanding. Why and how?
Absolutely fundamental. Why? Digs for the reason, the cause, the motivation. Why did you choose that option? Because it offered the best long-term value. How? Asks about the process, the method, the steps involved. How did you fix the printer? Oh, I just restarted it like this. Mastering why and how lets you unlock the layers behind almost any statement.
And it's really powerful when you combine these, isn't it? You don't just ask, what's your favorite hobby? You follow up with, oh, interesting. Why is that your favorite and how did you get into it?
Precisely. That combination takes a simple social question and turns it into an invitation for a much richer narrative. That's exactly the kind of advanced application we're talking about. That's the deep dive.
Okay, finally, narrative and selection. What happened?
The go-to question for getting the story or the details of an event or situation. A concise answer like the sample. There was a small issue with the delivery, but don't worry, it's all sorted now. Summarizes effectively.
And which one?
Used for making a choice when options are presented. We have red or blue, which one do you prefer? Allows for a clear decision. Definitely the blue one, it's a better match.
And there we have it. That's 100 questions broken down and analyzed. But more than just a list, it feels like we've uncovered 100 different opportunities to be a more effective, more perceptive, and ultimately more fluent English speaker.
I really hope that comes across. Because our time here wasn't just about reading through questions. It was about giving you that vital context, the cultural nuances, the situational awareness, the subtle variations in phrasing that you need to handle almost any conversation you might encounter.
Yeah, from just a quick hello to a really deep discussion about someone's job or health.
Exactly. The real deep dive for you listening is internalizing that understanding of when to use a particular question or variation and how to use it in a way that sounds not just grammatically correct, but truly natural and dynamic.
The aim isn't to make you feel overwhelmed by a list of 100 things to memorize. It's more about recognizing you now have this organized, powerful toolkit ready to use right away.
Remember, fluency isn't just about how many words you know. It's about how effectively and appropriately you can apply them in real situations.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Yeah, let's challenge you a bit. Think about one of those more nuanced questions we discussed. Maybe a variation like, how have you been lately? To show you genuinely care. Or perhaps combining probes, like asking, why do you think that? And following up with, and how did that shape your view?
Right. Which one of these slightly more advanced techniques will you consciously try to use in your very next English conversation? See if it helps you elevate the chat, maybe discover something new about the person you're talking to.
Go out there and put this knowledge into practice. That's where the real learning happens.
And if you found this deep dive helpful and informative, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
Yes, please do. Thanks so much for tuning in and joining us for this exploration. We look forward to sharing our next analysis with you very soon.